The last big episode of Parental Guidance, Season 3, Episode 4, hit the screens last night. Hopefully you're able to watch it. Really important conversation around mental health issues to do with our children and young people, but even ourselves. There was so much in this. Hello, welcome to the Happy Families podcast, real parenting solutions every day. This is Australia's most downloaded parenting podcast. We are Justin and Kylie Coulson. Kylie, so much to talk about. We're going to tackle a couple of the big topics from last night across this week on the podcast. Let's just do a quick catch up on who our parents are.
Josh and Cassie.
We are the life school parents. We live in our caravan.
We learn from real life experiences while giving our kids freedom.
Nick and Sophia.
We're the positivity parents where confidence is key.
Elvie and Sean.
We are the authoritative parents.
We have high expectations on children. We set strict rules and boundaries.
And Amanda and Hassan.
We are the hard way parents. We do things the hard way, no shortcuts. It's hard on us, but great for the kids.
Everyone say cheese.
So a brand new week and we've turned our attention to mental health. How can parents lay a strong foundation for good mental health for their children?
Right now, mental health issues among kids and young adults are at an all-time high. Australia is in the middle of a mental health crisis, particularly for young people, with stress, anxiety, depression and self-harm all on the rise. As parents, the strongest defence is helping kids build emotional well-being, connections and resilience.
And Kylie, this is what our first challenge was.
We gave them a realistic toddler doll to look after. Do they know how to be nurturing towards the baby? How to meet its needs? So, what have your kids picked up from you? The role models in their life.
How do you really parent?
To find out, give your children a chance to act as parents.
The new baby is waiting.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Why won't it stop crying? What if we leave it here and just wait for it to stop crying?
We did implement cry out approach really strictly. 12 months of cry out approach. Even though Stacey cried really loud up to an hour, we still pretend not hearing that.
If you keep crying, no iPad for you. Yeah, that's right. No iPad for you.
So Kylie, first off, let's talk about the authoritative parents and how they've responded to having this screaming, annoying little doll. It makes a lot of noise. But what did you identify as you were watching that?
I think Elvie has made no apologies for the kind of mother that she is. And she's acknowledged that compliments and nurturing don't come naturally to her.
Yeah, really high expectations, quite strict.
Yeah. And as a result, I wasn't surprised at all to see the way the girls responded to the doll. I firstly don't think they actually took the challenge seriously.
Yeah, I would agree.
At all.
Yep.
And so I think it's probably a little bit unfair to judge them entirely based on their unwillingness to engage in the activity.
Yep, completely agree.
But it was pretty hard to watch, to just, hear them making fun of the baby while the baby was crying, and suggesting that they were just going to leave the baby until it cried it out. As a mum, obviously, my heart's kind of aching a little bit, knowing that a baby cries for a reason, and our job as the parent, the nurturer, the carer, is to find out what's wrong.
So on the TV show, I had to be very careful about what I said around things like crying it out. But let me be a little bit more direct here on the pod. I feel like we can say stuff on the pod that we probably wouldn't say on national TV. I don't know why it's different, because we've got a lot of people who listen to the pod as well. So I'll be really, really direct about this. Number one, the evidence around crying it out is challenging. There's some evidence, I think, that's reasonable that says that it's better if you don't do it. But overwhelmingly, it's really hard to find evidence one way or the other. The real issue is that as parents, we hate it. It absolutely sucks. The other thing that I did say on the show, and I was really clear about this, is if your child is under the age of 6 months, you should never, absolutely ever, under no circumstances, should you be using a cry it out method. I did say in the room, and they didn't quite have the chance to elaborate on it because of timing in the show, but there is going to be an argument for cry it out if your well-being is suffering. Like if you've got postnatal depression, if you are not coping, if your stress and anxiety levels are through the roof, sometimes you just need to get enough sleep, and that might mean using that technique. Personally, I don't like it. I'm generally opposed to it, except in the rarest of circumstances. But these kids, that's their go-to, and I think it's because they've got parents who are fairly strict. It's like, stop it or there's no iPad, that kind of thing. All right, number one, don't give a baby an iPad. But number two, kids learn what they live. And if you live with threats and if you live with assertive, power-centric comments, then you will learn that and mimic that. And that's what we saw there. And it's definitely worth the conversation. However, what we really need to talk about is what happened with the positivity parents.
Who was mummy and who was daddy?
I was dad.
Your mum?
Yep.
Daddy's changing Bonnie?
Yep.
But don't you think mum should have done most of the work? Who dresses you in the morning?
You.
Who dresses you for dance? Who dresses you when you finish dance? Like the only time Dad dresses you is maybe if he gives you a shower.
Yeah, we done that and
Mila,
we were putting
Mila,
the PJs
listen,
on
Mummy.
like Dad
Mila,
does, and
listen,
then she snatched it off me.
Mila, I dress you all the time.
Dad dresses us at night and it was
I get it.
bedtime.
I understand. Listen, I understand.
I don't think you do.
Are you just like competing though? Like who cares who's doing it?
No,
you or your
definitely
husband?
not.
Great.
It's got nothing to do with competition. It's got to do with I'm taking care of my child, and I hope she knows that. I just wanted her to be truthful.
Was that about accuracy, or is it more about you needing validation?
Part of me was like, she honestly doesn't think Dad is the one dressing. I'm with them 24 hours a day. I'm raising a human that I want to be truthful and honest.
Oh, this was hard to watch. And you really hit the mark when you suggested to Sophia that she actually wasn't as interested about her child being honest and truthful from her own perspective. She needed the validation that she was doing everything.
Yeah, I mean, there's the truth, and then there's how you see it and how I see it. And some people are closer to the truth, higher levels of self-awareness. Some people have lower levels of self-awareness. We actually had another intervention. You know how last week I went out with the life school parents and we had a conversation about reading and their children's literacy. Well, we also had another conversation about this topic with Nick and Sophia. Unfortunately, again, because of timing, we just couldn't quite squeeze it in, and it didn't work with everywhere else that the show was going. But this idea of self-awareness, the willingness to hear another person's perspective and recognize that from their perspective, they're probably right. And to be humble enough to recognize that sometimes our perspectives are seen through our own filters. It's just so important. If there was one gift that I could give every single person on the planet, it would be the gift of self-awareness. That might be catastrophic and devastating for some people to discover where they're really at. But as a parent, it's so important that we can see how we are responding to our children, that we can have that mirror held up to us and have that level of self-awareness.
I think that the challenge we have as parents is we know how much effort we're putting in. We know how much we're sacrificing. We know how much we're giving up for our children. And when our children don't recognize that, it's like a sucker punch to your heart. It's so hard to be giving all day, every day, and not have anyone notice what's going on.
Yeah, and that's that conversation that I had in the room, right? That was that conversation around, as a parent, I actually believe this. Your role as a parent is to give and give and give and give and give and not get anything in return. It's an unfair relationship. It's a completely unequal relationship. It always has been and it always will be. That's the nature of parenting. And when you start demanding appreciation, when you start demanding some sort of equal input, you just end up being frustrated and disappointed and feeling like being a parent's the worst job ever.
But I don't think our children should know how much we give up for them.
They can't know. That's the point that I made in the room. They actually can't know.
But I don't think it's fair to want them to know. Like, would you ever want them to know
Like,
the
just let them be
challenge and the
kids.
hardship that
Yeah.
you go through for them? Like, I don't want my child ever carrying that weight.
Yeah.
All I want them to know is that everything I did was in the name of love.
Wouldn't mind if they did the dishes now and then.
That would be nice.
Yeah, but that's the key point, and I'm really glad you raised that. All right, after the break, a little bit more to talk about that came from the Positivity Parents. One thing to consider in your relationship is clarity around roles and responsibilities, and that's what I want to pick up on now in terms of the challenge that the Positivity Parents' kids got involved in. So in our case, and seemingly mostly in theirs as well, it's the more traditional model. But to me, the most important point that I want to make here is that having good communication around how the household functions, that's the critical point.
As positive parents, we definitely do fall into a traditional family role. I stay at home, I do all the things that, mum does. I cook, I clean, I shop, I take care of the kids, I take them absolutely everywhere, I take care of Nick. It is a traditional role, but then again, it's not, because he'll then load the dishwasher.
Hey, I'm not feeding her. I'm the mother, give me her. Go and wash the dishes. No, you go wash the dishes. The dad always washes the dishes.
We have regular conversations with our children about when these kinds of conversations need to take place. It's not once you're living together.
No.
That is way too late. We actually encourage our kids to start having those kinds of conversations, the division of responsibility, while they're dating.
Yeah, like not on the first date, but as you start to get into a more serious relationship, it's like, so who's going to work and how are they going to work? And what if we both want to work?
Or what if I don't want to work? What if I want to stay home and look after the children? Do you have a problem with that?
Yeah.
And who's going to take out the rubbish? And who's going to mow the lawn? Like, it seems like trivial conversations until you're living it and you recognize that you are not aligned.
So something that I've written about in quite a lot of detail in my upcoming boys book is that we encourage our daughters to look for the chair stackers. And what we mean by that is it's pretty well recognized and acknowledged, and we talked about this a lot of the podcast, that as a general rule, the emotional load and the cognitive load is carried primarily by mum in the household. It's often unseen, and much of it you can't put on a to-do list. And so our conversation with our girls is look for the chair stackers. That is, at the end of the night, when the event's over, who's stacking the chairs? Because the guys that sign up to stack the chairs, the guys that see the need and fulfill it, the guys that provide a bonus, extra value, they're the guys you want to look out for. Because when you end up in a long-term relationship, when you get married, you want the guy who's the chair stacker. You want the guy who doesn't need to be asked what to do. You want the guy who sees that there's a need and he goes and satisfies it. It looks like my wife is working late tonight. I better go and get on with dinner. I don't need to ask what is going to be for dinner. I'm just going to go and make the decision because I'm capable of doing it. I've got a brain in my head and I can do that stuff. Look for the chair stackers.
I'm really glad you shared that. I think too often couples go into a relationship thinking that 50-50, an even split, is the way to go. And the challenge with that is if I'm doing what I consider my 50%, but the other person isn't, why would I want to pick up their load? Because I'm already doing my full amount.
Yeah. I don't think scorecards work in marriage. I mean, there has to be, you can't have a passenger parent, somebody who's literally along for the ride. Like that's unfair. But if you're both working as a team, I believe in the 100-100 marriage, right?
Well, sometimes I give 120%. Other times it's you. I think about a team, right? And if one of our players breaks his leg, he's on the sideline. Does that mean he's not part of the team anymore? Does that mean he's not pulling his weight? The team rally around him in spite of the fact that he's not there. They fill in the gap until he's able to get back on track.
And they don't look at the poor guy and get all resentful and say, oh, for goodness sakes, just get up and do it anyway. Like there's a willingness to work as a team, I guess, is at the heart of it. Chair stackers. I mean, this was a really interesting conversation. I was absorbed by what happened in this challenge. It seemed like it was fairly basic stuff, looking after a doll. How much are you really going to learn? I know that they don't all take it seriously, but it led to some really fascinating conversations. Speaking of, there was one more family, our life school parents, the family of 5 boys. They were pretty rambunctious, and I don't know that they took it extremely seriously. It looked like they were having just a lot of fun with this particular challenge. But the conversation that happened after they did their challenge, that's when this happened.
And I'm really anti that boys will be boys. Like it really does stereotype a type of behaviour that is not okay.
That's tomorrow on the Happy Families podcast, which is produced by Justin Rulon from Bridge Media. We really appreciate Craig Bruce, our executive producer for this Parental Guidance series, and Mim Hammonds, who provides additional support and admin. The Happy Families podcast will be back tomorrow. If you'd like more information and more resources to make your family happier, you can visit us at happyfamilies.com.au.